Okay, Jaden. I think the first problem with the balloons is the fact that they're so big, you don't appreciate the different sizes in a balloon. We're going to talk about a balloon. The actual round part of the balloon at the top, this is called the envelope. Okay? Then underneath the envelope, there's a neck, and then there's a skirt. This one right here is called the skirt. Okay? Then after that, there's the gondola. And that's called the gondola. So now we know what we're talking about. These different terms are in a balloon. If I were drawing an airplane, I would have to look up an airplane and see the exact terms on the airplane. Okay, now what's important is to know how big it is in relation to different parts of the balloon. This balloon, not the neck and not the skirt, just the balloon, from here to here is 60 feet to 80 feet tall. Okay? That would be like a single-story house that you're in the house and you have an 8 to a 10-foot ceiling. If you have an 8-foot ceiling, that would be 10 times that would be 80 feet. So that's huge. Then that's this direction. Going this direction, at the widest part of the balloon is 55 feet. This is telling me that the balloon is going to be taller than it is wide. When you get down to here, your gondola bag can be anywhere from 4 feet to, I think, 7 feet was the two different sizes on that. And it's 4 feet by 4 feet. So now we've got to adjust our figures here, because if this is 4 feet and this is 55 feet, where is it going to fit on this in the size of this balloon? So if you're making a balloon that is this big, and then you're making a basket the same size, you're throwing your perspective off right there. Okay, the other thing is there's an axis point inside the balloon. An axis point could be just a line. That's our axis. It's the center line of everything. We know that if it is, and I'm going to make my balloon 56 feet across. Okay, I know it's got to be 56 feet across. I would go 1/2 of 56 is going to be 28 feet. So that means on my axis point, it's going to be 28 feet this way and 28 feet that way. Okay, now my other axis point is going to be a perpendicular line here. And I know that I've got to figure out how I'm going to show 28 feet. I could go with 28 centimeters. That's an awful big balloon that I'd be making, so we need to break it down more. If everyone is 2 centimeters per foot, well, now I'm down to 14 centimeters. I could bring it down even more and say 4 centimeters per foot, and that'll tell me that my balloon edge is going to be there, and my balloon edge is going to be there. So now I'm giving 4 centimeters equals 1 foot of what my balloon is. So now if I know 4 centimeters is a foot, and I've got, let's make it 60 feet high. I've got 4 goes into 60. 15 tons. So now from my center, and I don't have enough room here, 15, my balloon would be this high. And that would just be the middle. So I know that's not quite right either. In fact, the whole thing's not quite right. So let's go by this. We know it's almost the same size. It might be a little bit longer. Let's just kind of make it the same size around, which would mean I'm going to here, and I went 4 centimeters to here. I didn't. I went 7 centimeters. And I'll go 7 centimeters down here. I can draw a circle now. I can draw a circle now and have it pretty much the same on all sides without going to my cupboard and getting out a glass plate. There, I've got a circle. It's pretty much what I need. Now, I'm not going to have a balloon that's going to collapse on one side. Okay, now I've got to make the neck. The neck was just this area here and here. That was not much of anything. It was just a space. This connects to this. This connects to this. It still has a little bit of the balloon, but nothing in the middle, because that balloon there has to get the air. But now the important thing is, and I didn't do it, the important thing is that this neck is going to be the same on both sides. So I'm going 1/2 inch both sides. If our beginning drawing is off, the whole drawing will be off. Okay, so there's the neck, it comes down here, and then the skirt. The skirt is the part that catches the hot air and pushes it up. So it comes down even more. And it's attached. Once again, you can see my measurements are off. I'm trying to keep everything with a center line. Okay, there's my skirt. It connects there, it connects there, it connects there. Okay, now I've got a hot air balloon that is balanced, same on one side, same on the other. Now I've got a gondola. It's going to be a little bit larger than this because my hot air blower is going to be inside this gondola with the people. So I'm making it down here. And once again, I went farther on one side than the other. They've both got to be equal. This distance has to be the same as this distance. That's what my axis point is telling me. Now, how tall am I going to make that gondola? That gondola itself is about 4 feet. It's a square. And the area between here and here is the same as how wide it is. So that's about 4 feet. So I should have the same distance here to here as I do from here to here. Okay, now I've got something that will attach eventually to my hot air balloon. This is where you can come in and you can put in your decorations, because your balloon is pretty standardly made. It's got an access point. It's got the same on the left as the same on the right. Now, let's put perspective in here. If I were standing on the ground, my horizon line would be right here. And I might have a tree right here. And I would be this tall, standing there. But now, let's say that tree is way too big, because if it were that big, that balloon wouldn't be taking off. It would be running into the trees. So if I'm that big, maybe I've got a tree that's twice my size, which would be that big. Now my perspective is on track. This tree, this balloon, when it takes off, isn't going to break down the tree. The tree isn't bigger than the balloon, meaning the tree would be 100 feet tall. That's as tall as the redwoods. Okay, so that's if I'm standing here, and this is me, and I'm back behind it now. So this is farther and farther away. I could make my horizon line clear over here. Okay. So there I am there. If I were standing here, I'm going to get rid of my tree here. If I were standing here, my head would be here. I know that my body is about 5 heads long. So here would be my legs. See, all these measurements that we've been doing on our art classes were for a reason. We just have to stop and remember, we know how to do this. Okay, so depending on my perspective will depend on how big a person I am. Nothing has changed except for how close I am to this balloon. I may be big up down here, but up by the balloon, I'm going to be small. Okay, now let's throw another one in here. I'm getting rid of my stick men. I got rid of my tree. My balloon is now up in the sky. I'm going to tell myself my perspective lines are clear outside this range here where you can't see it. And it's going to be about the same here to there. Okay, now I've given you some lines here. We know that our basket is going to have the same type of lines on the top and or on the bottom as they do on the top. If I were standing right underneath this basket, and then this we would be able to see, This is what I would see right from underneath it. Then this would be connected. Let's connect it to 4 different loops. We'd have a wire connected from here to here. Actually, it probably going to go like that. And then I'm going to have to redraw this. Okay, we come down here and connect to the basket. Come down here and connect to the basket. And this is what we can see. We can't see what's behind us, but there would probably be another line behind us, another 2 lines. If I'm underneath this, remember if we have a box floating, okay, I'm not even drawing that right. We're going to have to go back to our floating boxes. Okay, we're back to our floating boxes. We've got the 2 different lines, or 2 different vanishing points. We draw our vanishing point. Remember, we're going to be able to see underneath of this box. So I've got my lines drawn in, my rays from here. Now I'm going to go up. Now I'm going to find that vanishing point again. Okay, so we remember how to do this now? We've got to do the same thing with the balloons. If you have to, go back and practice these. So I'm going to totally erase my box. I know my vanishing points are out here. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my box. Okay, I've got the bottom of my box drawn using those same vanishing points, and I've got the sides up here using those same vanishing points. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to draw it that way. And now I've got the bottom of my box drawn on here. Okay? whatever I see here, I'm going to see up here because this is going to have the same opening. I'm seeing the bottom. So now I've got a balloon that has lifted off and I'm looking up at it. So just by changing the things around it, I'm going to be able to see different things there. I hope this helps. I think your problem is that you don't have the right measurements according to what a balloon really looks like. If I were to draw a balloon like this and to make the basket down here like that, all of a sudden things are off to begin with. And you're not going to be able to make the balloon the way you want it to look. So let's work with starting on a realistic looking balloon. Before you put it up in the air, keep it on the ground. Once you have it on the ground, then put it up in the air. Okay? Why don't you let me see what you get when you put it on the ground?